Hi, it's Mobile Max in West Hollywood, and it is Tuesday, April 15th, 2025. April 15th used to be federal tax deadline day. I don't know what it is anymore. I think it's still April 5th. Anyway, to go on, the biggest ripoff in American history happened when? Just recently, at the end of the last Trump administration in 2020, we had the COVID pandemic, and the federal government had this American Relief Bill or something like that, where it intended to pass out trillions of dollars to families and to businesses and to people, and to also failing American cities, large American cities like Detroit or Chicago or Atlanta, New York City. All these large American cities were failing. Because why? Because they had no tax base. A lot of their constituency were lazy people who didn't work and lived off government assistance. So they had no tax base and they're failing. But we had a pandemic. Oh boy, we had to pass out that money. Pass out that money, print it out and pass it out. And the cities and counties in the United States of America, they had $350 billion designated for counties and cities and states who were in trouble and needed money. And I'm just asking, hey, where did all these $350 billion go? How about a little liberal transparency? Isn't that what the liberals believe in? One of their main principles? Transparency about what the government is doing? How about showing us some records, liberal, about where you got that money, how you spent it? You've got bank accounts, receipts, contracts. Where did the $350 billion go? The fact of the matter, and it's well known, is that a lot of this pandemic money, that they were in such a big rush to print out some money and pass it out, they had no vetting of the people. It was massive fraud and corruption. Here in California, they estimate, $30 billion or something was fraud. Prisoners who were not eligible for unemployment relief got billions of dollars. Criminals walking around, I could see them looking for empty houses that they could have their unemployment money sent to. This needs to be addressed. This is the problem with the goddamn liberals. One of their main principles is, if you steal money or commit fraud, that's okay, no problem. You want to shoplift? No problem, we won't bother you. You can't hurt anybody, no hurting, no abusing, especially women, can't abuse them women. But stealing, that's okay. That's one of my major thoughts is that in order to find what a political party, who their constituents are, follow the money. Follow the money. Look back on a previous administration and you want to see where the money went, and that will tell you who the constituents of that political party in power are. I say criminals got tons of money under Biden's liberal federal administration. Hundreds of billions of dollars were funneled into criminal organizations because they didn't have any protection procedures in place. It was absolutely stupid, but they just handed out money and they didn't care. Because why? Because it was taxpayer dollars. Who cares about taxpayer dollars? These selfish son of a bitches. what they were doing is mortgaging the future of the children, the little children, their future. By printing out all this fucking money, they quadrupled the price of real estate in many places. The money supply grew dramatically. They mortgaged the future. Now the future for their children is bleak. Why? Because these selfish son of a bitches already spent the money for themselves. That's what I believe this whole liberal philosophy is. Selfishness. You have big rights. You notice in the American Constitution it says pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That means you have a right to work for happiness. It doesn't say we're just going to give you happiness. You can sit on your lazy ass and we'll just hand you happiness. No, pursuit of happiness. If you work hard and you're smart, you'll attain happiness. But you got to work for it. It just isn't handed to you. But the liberals changed everything. During the last liberal administration, you have big rights. Even if you're even not a citizen. You come to the United States, big rights, big rights. Nobody has any need to bother you. You can do whatever you want. Take money. Be selfish. Take care of yourself. Fuck the future. I'm so important, and I can do what I want. The liberals' philosophy has failed, driving the United States of America into hell, into a handbasket into hell. That's what the liberals were doing to the United States of America. A bunch of unqualified, incompetent people being pushed up the ladder so they can be in positions of power. Yeah, that's what the liberals did. You know the liberals in many states abolished the SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test, SAT. It used to be when you were in high school and you wanted to go into a university or college, before you got into the university or college, you had to take this SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test, so they could place you. If you scored low, you got into a lower college, not as critical and teaching. But anyway, the bottom line is they got rid of the SAT so that their incompetent and unqualified people could be pushed through the academic system and arise with a degree, and then be pushed into positions of power and authority, and they did it. And now look what we got. We got a giant mess, turning us into a third world country. What is the most important aspect of third world countries that pops out everywhere in the world? Corruption. That's what it is. Third world countries typically have massive corruption. You want anything done by the government, you got to give them a bribe. The leaders, when they get tons of money and they borrow money, they keep a lot of it for themselves and their family and their friends. Massive corruption is what designates third world countries. And also, here's another thing. Third world countries, other countries have tried this printing out of money in the past to take care of everybody and everybody's need. And it's always led to disasters. Argentina, Brazil, you name it. Hundreds of countries in the past have tried this printing out of money to give to all their constituents, and it doesn't work. Why? Because it causes hyperinflation, and that's exactly what's happened in the last 10 years in the United States of America. They printed out money and they caused hyperinflation, and now, at least in where I live, in Los Angeles, a a regular middle-class person can't afford to buy his own home. It's just too damn expensive, and it's because of this printing out of money by, well, it wasn't just the liberals, although they really enjoyed it and did it a lot. Under George W. Bush from 2000 and 2008, he's the one who started all this. First of all, he spent $1 trillion, George W. Bush, 2000 to 2008, the President of the United States, and his administration spent $1 trillion on the Iraq War, which was wholly unjustified, but he did it. And also, here's another thing you might know. During the Bush administration, they organized a plan and passed out hundreds of billions of dollars to people with ranches and farms. Well, it had an important goal. I mean, you need ranches and farms to produce food. So it had, but what Bush was doing was passing out money to his constituency. Ranches are full and farms are usually conservative Republicans. So Bush is the one who started it by handing out hundreds of billions to his constituency, and the Democrats saw this plus other things and decided, hey, once we get in power, we're going to do the same thing. And boy, they sure did. The Obama did it too. In fact, Timothy Geithner, who's the one who invented quantitative easing, or at least employed it in the United States of America, quantitative easing was employed by the Treasury Secretary under Obama. Timothy Geithner, print out money and pass it out. So the Democrats doubled down on what the Bush did, and then after Trump spent money too under his first administration, 2016 to 2020. And then when Biden got in, I think the national debt was like 22 trillion. And then at the end of the Biden administration in 2024, the national debt was $36 trillion. So as far as the national debt goes, the Biden administration spent $14 trillion. But the problem with that's not the entirety of the printing out of money. The Federal Reserve has their own books, and what they do is they print out money, and it doesn't go on the national debt. It goes into the Federal Reserve balance sheets. They take money, printed out money, and hand it and buy corporate and treasury bonds. So there's other balance sheets that carry debt, and it's got nothing to do with the national debt. So the printing out money is more than that is revealed. Anyway, my basic plot was here. American cities, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, liberal-run cities. What did you do with the $350 billion that was handed to you during the Biden administration and the Pandemic Relief Fund? Have some transparency. What did you do with the money? Thank you. This is Mobile Max.